Welcome to the Smart Nonsense Podcast, where we talk about. Fuck, you want to do that?
No, run it.
We talk about entrepreneurship, self-development, and challenging norms. I don't really know what we talk about. I'm front lit. No one cares because you didn't see that.
That's an inside
spiraling.
joke.
Belky,
right
take
off
over.
the bat.
Take over. Spiral.
We almost canceled this. Everything almost always gets canceled, but sometimes you just got to push through. You got to do the hard things the hard way. What's that book Ben Horowitz wrote? The hard thing
about hard things. Yeah, dude.
And the thesis was you got to do them sometimes. That was his thesis.
Well, Belky texted me right before this. Yes, dude. Only got AirPod audio, and I spiraled because I got low T. I was watching one of our clients who just has dirt edits, and I'm like. Dirt means
Here's
stupid,
the thing.
by the way.
The reason I don't have good audio, dude, I've got like triple eyelids. It's crazy on here. The reason I don't have good audio is because of I eliminated my dongle that has an old school USB in it. I don't carry it with me anymore, so I couldn't plug my microphone in.
See, that's what you told me. No one cares about this. No one cares about this, but we're going to talk about it because this is a podcast and this isn't meant to go viral.
Long form?
You're going to come back and then be doing long form, going viral somewhere else. That was my worry because you said, "Oh, I eliminated my dongle," and I'm like, "You realize this is the USB mic that we use for good audio on the podcast." But
I would know that if we shot more podcasts. Because it's not part of my daily
what would make
anymore.
it easier if you came to New York. That'd make it a lot easier. But now you're just in a really dark studio, and I know once you build out that studio, you're never coming here. So
hey, dude, I work here. All right.
Oh, see, that's what I like about you. Now you can be a more versatile podcaster.
Why is that?
Dude, what if we both did a remote podcast where you're like back there and I'm fucking pulling up my own green screen over here. For anyone listening
on the radio,
dude, if you're listening in general, it sucks. But we've been talking about doing long form because we pretty much maxed out short form. Because I do 2 a week, Belky does something like 8 or 10 a week in terms of shorts we're putting out, and all of them all of them get millions of views, what we call M's. So it's just like the natural progression is, hey, let's do long form. No one listens to the podcast, but we can make this viral. And we still haven't done it yet because we're looking for a writer, and that's surprisingly challenging.
It is. Is that the thread we're going to
see
work
that?
off of?
I was going to keep talking because I know I usually keep talking, but I didn't expect a 5-second pause. So I'm just going to keep talking from now on because that was atrocious, dude. That was a scroll. It was sick though. In case you're here, we did a podcast recently with Danny Miranda. That was a hoot in person. A lot of tea, a lot of energy going around. So you should watch that instead of whatever you're listening to now. But last we talked, I don't know what we were doing.
I sometimes thought that you would like jot down threads for this podcast. So I'm just kind of working off those.
Oh, right. Because in theory, I'm posting these on my account because this is my baby. You just show up. Give me a 5-second pause and rip. This.
Give me something to chew on.
Oh, okay. So here's where we're at in the business because I don't know. I guess you just listen to this to like hear our business story, maybe, or just hang out with us. But the like crux of what we're struggling with right now is: do we take this little viral machine we have? Do we use that to sell more clients or to sell sponsors? So they can now be at the end of thank you. They can now be at the end of our shorts. We're like, oh, we tell this story, which I basically just stole from The Hustle, or Henry stole from a bankrupt company on YouTube.
Stole is a loaded word.
Stealed from a bankrupt company.
Stealth.
It's like they have their stories. We remix them. Easy stutter. We remix them. And dude, I don't know how to podcast. Oh, okay. At the end of it, we're just like, hey, we got this story from the Hustle. Go subscribe to get more stories like this. We have like a really like 3-second version of that right at the end of every episode or every short. Oh, Jesus. And then they pay us for all the subscribers and views we get. That we were trying to do because I'm like, Belky, we locked down the company. We have enough money. Let's just focus on sponsorships. But that's tricky because no one's doing short sponsorships, or they're not like, there's no market there. Like we're kind of inventing our own market. Like even the TikTok side, which we don't do well on TikTok, there's a little bit of a market like blossoming there, but it's the great unknown. So it's hard for us to explore that. So now we're like, oh fuck, we got to keep making money on either the clients, as in our agency, or we do long form. But long form, we don't know if that's going to work. I assume it will because it's like the same retention shit that you're doing for a short. You just do for like the 5-10 minute version, and we can keep the same green screen and animations and everything. But it's like this little bit more complex with titles and thumbnails, and like that's a consideration. But I still think it'd pop off. So we could do that, but who knows how much money we'd make off of that. And then we have a lot of people trying to pay us a lot of money. So we're like, which direction do we go?
You want to know the problem with agency? This is where we land every time. But there's a problem. Pulls up the green screen.
Oh, you got lower T than me.
No, dude. Just for a second. Just for a second. There's 3 types of businesses, right? There's bad ones. Those like they're so bad. I've had.
Dude, why? If you're gonna pick a finger, why do you pick that finger?
Because I'm gonna go in order.
You start with the ring finger? You don't start
ahead.
That's the least comfortable finger to throw out. That one's going to be up the longest. Okay. All right.
Bad businesses. They're so bad that they fail quick. You get them out of the way. Then there's good businesses. That's the agency. It just kind of hums along. It's a lifestyle business. You get a lot of cash. The problem with those is they don't really go anywhere. Then on the other end, you have great businesses. And those are the ones that like actually scale well and like, do these things that have a larger impact on the world. Or not even that necessarily. Just great in the sense that like leverage is optimized. Agencies are really good business, especially in the short run, especially when you're worried about cash. So it's like it's so hard to be like, okay, let us put aside the agency short run so that we can optimize for a great business in the long run. And the problem with good businesses is people do them for 30 years.
Yeah. It's like if you imagine people trying to pay you 50 or 100 grand a month, it's really hard to say no to that. When if you looked at my personal checking account right now, I think I have $300 in there.
Should we do a reveal?
No,
I actually just paid down all of my credit cards this morning. I think I have $150.
Dude, I have you beat.
And I'm behind on taxes.
So that's like, goddamn, it really pains us to work on clients. Like right now, right before this podcast, the reason why I almost spiraled was because I'm looking at a client and we basically tried to teach them our format for scripting. But I'm like, hey, this format barely works for us. And it extra doesn't work with you because you're boring and you don't have character animation that we do. You just have kind of like decent graphics.
But that's cool because who else was going to figure that out? I wasn't even. But it took you being data driven to go into YouTube, and we have enough data on our own stuff. And now with this client to look at it and you're like, oh, those 4 words you said right there, those absolutely are tanking your retention. Your retention's cut in half at that point. So it's kind of cool that, yeah, we let them astray, but we can fix it.
Yeah, it's just like, fuck. It kind of sucks trying to fix other people's thing and boot up what took us like years to figure out how to go viral, and like, oh, now we're gonna teach you how to do it. And it's like, it's a headache when you're like, oh, I know if we just did long form, we could monetize. Like 70% sure we could make a lot of money off of doing that, but also like, what is a lot of money? Because we kind of need a lot of money since like our expenses are like $1 million a year. So it's just it's a tricky binky. We're kind of like in the catch-22 of where do we focus. But we've committed to taking on basically everyone on the wait list. And we're like, okay, everyone that kind of stuck into the wait list, we're capping it there, not trying to bring on more people. Our assumption is, like, say we take on 5 people and they're all at like 20 grand a month. Maybe like half of them we can't crack the code and they get impatient and money is too important to them, or they just cancel. But like, we'll still have maybe 2 clients, 3 clients that are stoked, ideally all 5. But it's scary. Alex Hormozy put out this thing where he's like, who I trust as a mentor. It's like different levels, but the like level where we're at, which is not the highest level, is I've done this before. Like that's like a level 3. I forget level 1 and 2, but level 3 is like I've done this before. We've gone viral before. The levels that we're not at, like 4 and 5, that's like I've brought someone with me. Like I've taught from scratch someone how to do what I've done. We thought we did that with like Henry replicating my virality, but it's not my personality. Like Henry's smoking me on the personality side. It's like, and quantity side. It's just like that wasn't the key thing to test. If we can bring someone up, can we bring someone up with no character animation? And that's what we're like.
Completely different format.
We only really have one person. But it's just like, it really sucks to be even focused. Like even asking that question, I'm like, we don't need to ask it. We already have virality. Like, why can't HubSpot just pay us to sponsor these things?
Right. It's such a fork in the road. It's like, okay, we spent 2 years cracking the viral code. Now, the agency mindset is basically, can we accelerate that 2 years for these 5 clients? But you're like, but we have virality. Like, what if you just didn't? What if you just didn't spend all of your time trying to optimize this thing for other people?
Well, that's where
but it also funds everything we do.
And starting in February, I'm going to date this podcast now, but in February or March, they're going to start paying out shorts. Like they're going to put ads on shorts and pay out. So we don't know how much money might come through that. But like,
you had that teaser, right? So like right now, shorts it's like 4 cents per 1,000 views. And you got a screenshot from somewhere that said it would be on the order of like maybe 20 cents per 1,000 views. So we could be seeing like, that's like pretty serious money. That's 5x what we're currently doing, which is like, I don't know, 2-3 grand a month. 5x that.
20 grand. It still doesn't really make a massive difference. But
right.
So we'll see. Basically, like just trying to, I guess, these are all like good problems to have, but it's just really annoying when you see the future. Like the future for us, I don't know, maybe it was unclear on like the last podcast, whatever we talked about there, but like seeing, in my mind, it's like we want to make learning cool. And the best way to do that, like learning, okay, first let me talk about learning is cool. Because I think like the high school thing of, hey, if you like learning, like you're kind of the try hard nerd, like you get shit on by all the people that are like too cool for school. I don't fuck with that, because I think that like hampered me a lot, and it took going to Brown where everyone was nerdy to be like, oh, it's cool to read books, and it's like cool to really be into this stuff. So that's where my whole world changes. Like, oh, I'm actually like pretty nerdy. So helping like the younger people and just like people in general continue to learn, because I know probably all our friends outside of work aren't like pushing themselves to read very much, or just keep learning. And that's like Brown, like Ivy League students that no longer really learn. So how do we do that? Basically, like our shorts, what's sick is we iterate really fast, but I think we're going in the direction of some sort of like South Park or like Family Guy or something for nerds. It's like pretty much everyone likes that sort of humor. Like it's just really funny. It's like, can we just make Family Guy educational or South Park educational? Like those stories that they're talking about, instead of being like poop jokes all the time, can we have like poop jokes and fart jokes with like how to run a business?
Like dude, I didn't know we were gonna have to do poops and farts.
We're getting close, dude.
We gotta
really
write in poops and farts. Fish sticks.
We might have to if retention drops. But that's the direction. So it's just like these clients are actively paying us to like give up our dreams. But hey, that's the cost of living a
Oh,
decent
you didn't
life.
have to put it that way. You
Don't
didn't
get
have to put it. Getting paid. Wait, what's that thing about a job? A wage is. Hey, there's some adage like that. That's basically
it's
like
Nassim
you're getting paid
Taleb.
to give up your dreams.
Yeah, it's like the worst drugs. Fuck.
Yeah,
The worst
yeah,
drugs are like
yeah.
cocaine,
Cocaine and a
sugar,
wage.
and a monthly salary. It's like those three things, something like that. I think it was cocaine and sugar. But yeah. So I feel like an employee where it's like even with like shorts, like you rip shorts, but every time it's like, oh, I got to shoot 4 shorts today. I'm like, I feel like I'm clocking in. I don't like clocking in, and then I fucking spiral. But Belky, you'll clock in all day. You're like,
Dude,
you love that shit.
I want nothing more than to clock in, get some things done, clock out, hang out.
I've been trying to figure out. You're like, oh, this other. I didn't write down this thread, but I want to talk about the midwit meme.
I was
That's
gonna
kind of
say I need a thread. I'll take a midwit.
but I I think you're the closest to a simpleton that I know.
Dude, I'm sniffing markers. My brain was
Like,
like, open that marker and sniff it right now.
the best is when you get a little marker on your nose and you look special for everyone to see,
Dude,
but you don't know. It's
would you call me a simpleton? Yeah.
well, I I don't know. I try and understand your priorities, and it confuses me. And then I'm like, he's simple. Like, don't try and attribute anything complex to a simple person. Um,
The midwit meme, baby.
so yeah, the midwit.
Don't try and complicate
Whoa, dude.
things that
Oh,
are not
I'm playing hockey,
complicated.
dude. If anyone cares, I. so, so it's been a while since I've done sport. Like the last time was with Belky, like this summer, so 6 months ago, and haven't played sports in a while. Haven't played hockey in years, like 3 years at this point. And I go out there, dude. And yesterday it was just like 5 people, and half of them were like over 60. This one dude, Stuart, 78 years old, dude, flying, dude. And he's
You got a
like
muffin
doing
top.
circles around me. I'm muffin. I was actually in the locker room. I'm like, well, that's a little muff. But
Stewart's like, whoa, bro, watch the muff.
it was
Wrap it up.
bad, dude. Like I have no hands. I forget how to like do basic things and like turning, and I was like losing balance. And I'm like, oh my god, dude. And then like after 30 seconds of skating, I would get to the point where like it hurts my lungs to breathe.
Or you're gonna throw up.
Today I almost did because dude, this morning I ordered fucking Uber Eats. Uber Eats. I don't know how they pass this off, but I ordered from like a breakfast burrito place, and I only order Uber Eats when it's buy one get one free, so I just get everything of buy one get one free and just kind of run them out of business. But I got Brussels sprouts and an egg burrito. They send it over and it's just Brussels sprouts. They're like, oh, we were missing the egg burrito. I'm like, this is your business. How are you missing? How are you open today and missing an egg burrito? So I just ate like a literally double serving of Brussels sprouts because I had no other food, and then I almost wanted to puke. My lungs hurt. But I'm back into sports.
Well, you know what
so
they
the midway
say,
meme?
like before Olympians go out on the field, like I think 8 or 9 hours before, they're supposed to eat like a couple handfuls of Brussels sprouts.
Oh, really? How
Yeah,
about 30 minutes before?
you're an
No,
idiot.
but it's
They're not
sick,
supposed
dude.
to eat Brussels sprouts.
Dude, this rink, I don't know how they make money, but it's literally like this rink is on the Hudson River. It's like the most prime real estate. I'm skating and I'm just looking at boats go by in the Hudson. I'm like, dude, how? It's really sick. Was there anything else?
You
Or are
ever
we
seen
getting back to
Sully?
midway? Yeah, I should watch it
That's a
again now
good
that
one.
it's relevant.
That's a good one. Midwit, dude.
So the midwit mean, in case you haven't seen it, it's basically this little what do you call those parabolas? A little
Normal curve.
normal curve.
Bell jar.
Bell jar curve. It's like the start of that. I think this is like an IQ scale or something. But it's like the start is like someone that's really stupid. Like we call them nerds. Like you just look special. Then you get into the midwit, and that's like the person, like I picture them like just the overthinker, like the average person that's like weighing all their pros and cons and options and like trying to figure everything out. And they're like, well, we could do this, but like, what if this eventuality happens? It's like those people, a lot of those people. And then once you get through that to the other side, like the super highest IQ or success, that's like the genius area. And the genius and the midwit often approach life in the exact same way. So if you have a problem, it's like, oh, how do we make a lot of money? It's like the midwit would say, make videos that earn money. And it's like, oh, okay. And then the person in the middle is like, well, we could do an agency, but the agency, we'd have to charge a lot because like optimize for our time. And then we could maybe do like sponsored ads and like they'd basically run in circles. And then you get back to the genius, and the genius is like, make videos that make money. It's like, okay, I guess we should just do sponsored videos. So we had that spiral. There are probably better examples, but we're just like, dude, what would the nerd do? What would the dumb person do? Because that often is the same exact result as whatever the genius is. Like whatever Elon Musk would do is also what the really dumb person would do.
I think also like recently Elon's done a great job of this. I think he's like totally taken the midwit to heart, where he's just like, what's the simplest path forward? And it's like, okay, why is anybody talking about anything else? Give me the simplest.
I think why it works is it's sort of the kid mentality where you just ask why about everything because you don't know and you're curious. It's like when you ask all those whys, you get to the first principles. So like the kids kind of get to the first principles of things, same way as the smartest thinkers try to get to the first principles. So it's like, like, no, rockets are really expensive to send to space. And you're like, why? It's just like fuel and a little metal capsule. Like, how can that be that expensive? And it's like both the midwit, the like child brain and the genius brain would come to the same conclusion. That's kind of first principlesy. Principlesy. So cerebral palsy. So yeah, dude, this is a sick pod. I don't know where we're going. Did I have anything else? 23 minutes.
Dude, give me a thread. Give me a thread to close. It's so funny. I think people can come. They can learn like a lesson or two. We can get a little of our daily diary history on the chopping block, and then you just get threads in between. It's like, how is that not a beautiful listening experience?
I was thinking about. I was listening to Joe Gebbia, who started Airbnb, tell his story on how I built this, and it's like he's just retelling what happened. But it's so cool that we have almost the primary source of everything that happened. Just motivated me extra to like continue documenting every week, every couple weeks, because like we don't know. It's going to be really cool looking back. Has it been a month or two?
Several, maybe dozens.
And this is what we come back with. But dude, this is what I'm saying. I'm like the podcast in person. This would look a lot sicker. So that's your job. You got to crack that code this week. You think
we got a lot
how
of codes
we shoot
to crack,
things in person.
We got a lot of codes to crack.
Sorry to bore you with our low T today. Henry's in the dark, but that's all we got. Gardeloo!